Hello and welcome again to the Earthbound Super Series. My name is D-Rock934, joined tonight by Red Balloon Man. And we got a good race for you tonight between Arithium and Drumboardist.
Hey, just a moment, I'm setting up the thing.
Alright.
Okay, I can actually see the streams now. I had to go through their thing for Chrome or whatever. But anyways, we have our two racers, Arithium and Drumboardist. And this is their first round of the Boogie % actual brackets. And right now, you're not going to see much variation between the two runners for the start. Everything's pretty much the same anytime you start.
Yeah, you won't see too much until the spawns get turned on and they have to work their way up the hill, which will be the next.
And little menuing mistake right there from Drumboard is he missed the talk to Pokey and ended up talking to absolutely nothing. Just a minor type loss.
No problem here.
Hold on, I gotta restart Discord real quick. Okay, I'm back. Hopefully I can hear you now.
Better?
Oh yeah, there we go. I don't know why my Discord always does that. I always have to restart it. I was hearing you through the restream.
Yeah, I had a little bit of an issue with my headset. I gotta sort it out. So sorry about the dead air for a minute there.
So I haven't actually looked at much of their Boogie % times. Do you know what their average times were in brackets?
I can look it up real quick. Arithium is the higher seed here, though. Arithium won his group.
Alright, so, but this is Boogie %, so you could even be the best. You could be the best runner in the world. It doesn't necessarily mean you'll win when it comes to this category. There's just so much RNG, so much stuff that can go on. Up until the very end of the race, you never know who's going to win.
Okay, so Arithium had a best of 2 of 111.44. And Drum had a best of 2 of 112.08.
That's not that far off. Yeah, from those, it's actually kind of hard to make a prediction on who would win, so this is going to be an interesting race. And we got a stutter step from Drumboardist. Stutter stepping around the snake. Did a very good job with that. Earthbound opting to go around the tree. Works very well to get around that dog.
Yeah, the doggo there. Drumboardist first one up the hill, though. So here's your first story trigger sequence. You're gonna get a whole bunch of dialogue for the backstory of the game here from Buzz. But we're gonna mash through it. But basically the gist of it is 10 years into the future, the world is destroyed by an evil entity named Gygus. So Buzz comes back into the future to recruit you to stop it.
And the only way to stop him is to destroy an evil tent and then take some fly honey. And then Gygus is destroyed in this category.
Yeah, very well put.
Gygus' true weakness, fly honey. But as far as strats go, up until pretty much Giant Step, I'm not expecting to see much variation as to what either of them do. They're going to grab the bread roll, go fight Starman, use auto fight, and that's going to be pretty much exactly the same in every race that you see. Frank, more or less the same. They're going to be fighting the same enemies. Strats are the same. But with the first place where you really see some variation is in Giant Step, and people tend to have different strats for grinding slugs. So right now, it's just a matter of who gets the best RNG.
Yeah, very well put. It's really up to the game at this point.
So for the Starman fight, what we're looking to see is for Buzz to do high damage. The fight's scripted, so Buzz will always use a shield, then attack. I consider that one cycle, each shield and attack. And it can be anywhere from 2 cycles, 2 hits for Buzz, all the way up to 4 and possibly 5, but I've never seen 5 personally. What you want to see is 2, and you don't want to see Starman use fire, because every time Starman uses fire, that's a 4-second attack.
Yeah, the slowest move he can do here is just to be on guard.
That would be the fastest move.
Yes, you're right. Slowest time loss.
It looks like Drumboardist is the first one to get out of Starman.
8:06 is a pretty strong time. Anything under 8 minutes is extremely good, but like up to like 8:45 is still pretty dang good pace.
Yeah, neither of them got in a fight going up the hill, so that's a good start.
Drumboardist out to a small lead here, but Earthbound is not too far behind. As RBM just stated, it's not going to vary too much unless one of them happens to die to Frank or anything like that. If they both like get through that part of it pretty easy, it's like you said, it's the same thing. And then the variation in spawns really comes in Giant Step.
That's not to say that the beginning's free. In fact, one of the next fights coming up, in fact, 2 of the fights can actually be kind of scary. The Pogo Punk fight, even though it's just a regular enemy, if you get bad luck and he charges forward and hits you 3 times, you're probably going to die.
I can have died to that guy many a time.
Alright, and the strat here for mashing is you don't want to accidentally mash A the whole time, otherwise Buzz will just talk in a loop. In fact, you'll just mash B and select whenever the answer is like, well, it's like yes, say understand, and then you want to say no, otherwise you'll just get a giant conversation loop. And I'm not sure exactly how much time you'll lose if you accidentally make him repeat too much.
Yeah. definitely unforced time there. I'd say it's probably about 10-15 seconds, but it's still not a time loss that you want to give yourself unforced.
One little thing about the movement in this game, you'll actually find that you can kind of brush around corners in this game to kind of make movement a little bit easier. You don't always get stuck, but the movement can be kind of finicky. You can get stuck on certain like edges, but a lot of the edges you'll just see them like walk straight and then they'll kind of just brush across it.
So we'll follow up with Arithium here. We didn't cover it when Drum did it, but Arithium's going to grab the Mr. Baseball cap here, and he's going to equip it, and then he's going to quickly sell it for a similar defensive item that offers him one less defense point, but gives him $99 to buy a second defensive item that boosts his defense even higher.
Yeah, it's a nice little cheap thing you can do right at the very beginning of the game to make fighting Pogo Punks not nearly as scary. Otherwise, trying to come up with the money for a cheap bracelet without selling the Mr. Baseball cap can be kind of tedious because those punks do a lot of damage.
This allows us to jump right into the two Pogo Punks, the Yes Man and the Frank fight, without grinding beforehand.
And the nice thing about Pogo Punks, which is really convenient for the run, is they have a 100% chance to drop a hamburger, which we need all of them.
Yeah, so typically and like optimally, you'd get up to Frank with 3 burgers in your inventory, and possibly the bread roll if your arcade fights go well.
Yeah, a lot of times you'll use the bread roll right before the Frank fight if you take some damage, just to conserve a life up if you need it. But yeah, it's a nice little buffer to get to make sure you don't have to use your hamburgers before Frank. You typically don't want to use the bread roll on Frank because it isn't going to heal you nearly as much and can put you in a very risky situation. But yeah, if you go under, I think usually 30 HPs around the point where you'll use a bread roll.
Drumboard is using the bread roll before the Yes Man fight to top off his HP. It's a smart move there, because typically that's where you're going to use the bread roll. It's very rare that you actually have it past there.
Yeah, it's most commonly used either right before or right after the Pogo Punk. Or I mean, not the Pogo Punk, the Yes Man Jr., but if you get really lucky, you can have it and give it to Apple Kid later, but that doesn't usually happen ever. And for Frank, we're looking to see that they will heal every time they get hit. Even if it's a light attack, if they don't heal, they are putting themselves at major risk. What you're wanting to see is for Frank to just waste a turn by making your guts to go down, because that will allow you to attack multiple times. And good fight from Drumboardist. Very, very good fight.
Okay, so the Frank fight, Frank has 3 actions that he can use. He has a strong attack, the brandishing of the knife, the weak attack, which is coming out swinging, and the empty turn, essentially, which is lowering the guts. You want to heal every time you get hit for any amount of life, because Frank can brandish you for 27, and you can't mash out of that.
That was a very nice smash.
Arithium made up quite a bit of time in the arcade there.
And for Frankenstein, every other turn, he will more or less skip his turn. The first attack will always be a light attack that does anywhere, I think, from like 14 to 18 damage. But you'll see, as Arithium just did, I don't know if Drumboardist did or not, well, you kind of take advantage of the rolling HP meter. If you have around 23 HP and you know you're going to get hit for critical, you can actually heal on the turn that you would get hit, and you will life up before you die. It's a pretty nice way to take advantage of the HP meter.
And what you said about this part rang true, RBM. If each runner basically handled it about the same.
And fun little fact, if you walk back in the arcade and walk back out, you can get a full heal from Frank. Pretty nice to do. Then we just go to the mayor, get the key, and then most likely they're going to be stopping back to get more hamburgers. Most people do. You can get away with not grabbing burgers, but it's really risky. It's not really worth doing, especially not in a race. Boogie Percent is an Earthbound race that goes only up to Boogie Tent, or the Fly Honey after Boogie Tent. It's a shortened category mostly for newer runners. That's about a 1 hour 10-minute, maybe an hour 20, somewhere around there. It's about 1/4 of the game.
Yeah, it's similar to Final Fantasy IV's Paladin Percent or Final Fantasy VI's Kefka et Narj Percent.
Or Rugrats in Paris Rocket Ship Percent.
Yep, or Rugrats in Paris.
Sorry, I had to sneak that one in there. And just a little subtle trick that you can't really see if you don't know what's going on, but Drumboardist, by walking to the right side of the door and using the key, it actually skips a little bit of text. Arithium's doing it right now. It's just, if you walk into it, it basically just says, the door is locked, and it's just easier to stand to the side and skip the text.
So now comes the variance and who's able to spawn a pack of slugs first. Arithium gets the first pack, but Drumboardist is still using his progressive despawn to look for slugs. And there we go for Drum.
Yeah, the most ideal way to gain levels is to fight slugs. They're weak, they give quite a bit of experience, they can't call for help, and they're just very ideal for gaining experience. Because unfortunately, this is the only grinding section in the run. It can make or break a run just based on what slugs you get. It's the only more or less intentional random encounter that we get.
So each runner is looking for 22 slugs to reach level 8. And the reason for that is stats, for one, and the fact that we get an AoE attack at level 8 that allows us to take on the boss of this place, Titanic Ant.
If we're really lucky, we might even see a bomb. Slugs have a 1 in 128 chance of dropping a bomb. And a bomb is a one-time use item that can do, I think, anywhere from, 80 to 100 and... I don't know what the max is, like 130 or something like that?
I want to say it's 150, but I'm not 100% sure.
We'll just say an average of, 100.
Both players having a very, very, very good luck spawning slugs so far. They're neck and neck on the slug grind. This is going to be 12 for each.
And you'll be noticing that they're grinding for slugs on the first floor as opposed to the other floors. That's because slugs and ants have the exact same sprite on screen. But on the first floor, ants cannot spawn. So if you see those dots, it's guaranteed to be slugs on the first floor. On the second floor and third floor, there is a chance to be antoids, and antoids are just really scary fights. You may see them go up to the third floor to get a pack of 6 slugs, though, because that's the only place where you can get a pack of 6 slugs. And the total number of slugs that they need to get is 22, right?
Yeah, it's 22. I don't know quite what Drum was trying to do there, but he wisely comes back down to the first floor. And Arithium is now 1 pack ahead of Drumboardist, so this is going to be, quick math, 16 for Drum and 20 for Arithium. Still really good pace for both players.
Yeah, if I had their Slug RNG, I would not be complaining. They're actually doing pretty well. Do you want to explain stutter stepping?
Sure. So stutter stepping is you're basically moving one. I'm not sure the exact number of frames, but you're moving frame by frame. For enemies there's some enemies that will only move toward you when you move. So if you tap the D-pad in one direction, you can walk right by them, and you can just avoid encounters that way.
Yeah, because those enemies that chase you down, they don't move right away. It takes something like 3 frames or something like that for them to actually move towards you. So tapping repeatedly is a very efficient way to skip them.
Arithium has level 8. He's on his way up. Drumboardist has his 6-pack on the 3rd floor, and this will give him his level 8. But Arithium is going to be dealing with some swans here, but he could blow right by Drum right here.
Did he already get his level 8?
Yep.
Alright, so you saw him go into the status area to see how much offense he has. He has 23, and that's actually a big deal because 23 and 24 offense completely changes how you approach this next area. If you have 23 offense, then you cannot insta-kill these enemies. Those are actually Antoids right there that you see on his screen. If you have 24 offense and you run into a single one, you will insta-kill the fight. But if you have 23, it will actually put you in the fight, and you don't want to fight Antoids. They're scary enemies. They can waste a lot of time because they can call for help, use life up on themselves, or do actually quite a bit of damage. So, nice. First turn runaway. That is lucky.
Clutch runaway there. I was kind of cringing because Arithium was in trouble on that fight, but he handled it very well.
I don't think I would have tried to run away. I probably would have used Rockin' and left and just got another butterfly, but that's just how I do it. I hate dealing with Antoids.
I would have done the same. We got the 114. Holy cow, that's a good roll.
And that's why we get Rockin', because Titanic Ant's already a pain in the butt on his own, let alone with 2 Antoids. And those Antoids have the chance to life up Titanic Ant, and you just don't want to deal with that.
82 on the second, so he's already over 200 here. Titanic Ant's about 2 hits away for Earthbound, but he's playing it safe, and there's the shield. Could be 3 here now. No, still 2. Clean fight. Nice fight.
Very, very good fight. I don't think anyone would ever complain about a fight like that. All right, Drumboardist's turn. Let's see what happens. Ooh, a magnet. That's
5. Okay, it still gives him a 80's a good roll. He still has another rock in here.
Yeah, he won't be able to use life up again, but at least it wasn't 6 or higher. Then he wouldn't have been able to do a double rock in.
80 and 75, 2 good rolls, so we're at 155. Titanic Ant has 235 health, if memory serves me correctly.
At this point, what he wants to see is magnets and offense, because magnet won't do anything anymore, and offense is essentially a wasted turn. Titanic Ant has 2 different attacks, one that does about 20 to 25 damage, and another one that does like 45 to 50 damage, right around there. So ideally, if he's going to hit, you want the 23 damage. More times than not, anytime that they get hit, to play it safe, they will just heal. Worst case scenario, Titanic Ant can actually smash you for 60 plus damage. And if you get hit after that, you can just die, and there's not really anything you can do about it. In this case, both of them survived Titanic Ant. More or less the scariest fight in ONET.
Yeah, there's still one more spot, but Titanic Ant definitely is a roadblock for the early game.
So it's a very close race. However, there's one significant thing to notice was just how many hamburgers they had to use in the fights. Drumboardist will more likely have to go back and buy more burgers. That's up to him. Yeah, I think I only saw 2, maybe 3 there. Arithium's burger count seems to be much more healthy, so he's sitting a lot better for the cop fight.
Yeah, Drum was using quite a bit. There's a few turns there towards the end. He was playing it a little safe, but I was sitting there and I was saying, well, he's like, I was thinking to myself, the ant's 1 hit away, and but I don't blame him for playing it safe though.
Yeah, there's always a chance Ness can miss. He tends to miss at the worst possible times.
Yep, he sure does.
All right, so cops. A couple things to note: they have 2 different attacks: a light attack, which does right around 16 damage, and then a heavy attack, which can do. I'm not sure what that caps at, but it's right around the 40 damage, like 45-ish damage range, I think.
And they can smash it.
And they can smash. So what you want to see is small attacks, and you're going to see them managing their HP. Typically, if they're under... I usually go by 50. If I'm around like 30 to 50 HP, I'll use a hamburger. If I have less than 30, I'll usually life up. The other interesting thing about the fight is Ness has a chance to go first in the fight. So when Ness is attacking, you want him to go first. If Ness is healing, more times than not, unless you're under 23 HP, you want Ness to go second just to maximize your life ups. And cops have a 1 in 16 chance, I believe, of dropping a hamburger, and Arithium just got one.
I call that a compensation burger.
So another thing that they're trying to manage with their psychic points is they typically only want to use 2 life ups in total for the entire cop fight. That way they can have 20 psychic points for strong, and I'd say about 75% of the time, 2 rockins will be enough to kill strong, but there's always a chance for a rockin to miss or the damage rolls to be low, but double rockins usually your best friend in Captain Strong fight.
Arithium wisely queuing up a life up because Strong came out 2 strong attacks, and well, that's a clean net right there. It's a good time. Very, very well done, Arithium.
Can we see 2 sub 30 Onets?
Would be.
Generally, just as a general rule of thumb, a sub 30 Onet is what you want. That's considered a goat Onet, sub 30.
Yeah, I certainly wouldn't be complaining about a sub 30 ever. Even at 29.59.
Ooh, Drumboardist is having some rough luck. Lots of crushing chops, and Ness has been missing.
Yeah, the cops have taken him to crushing chop land. Population.
Ooh, Arithium, I don't know how I feel about... I would have probably despawned those personally, but hey, it's paying off for him.
Good stutter stepping out of Arithium here.
So a slight difference between Boogie Percent and Glitchless, they will not be getting the exit mouse here. It's just not useful in this category. There's no dungeon you need to escape quickly.
Oh, the grapple missed for Drum. He had 21.
Ooh, that was a low rockin'. Rough fight. This is kind of scary, but he got it.
2 sub 30 on that's very, very nice.
Yeah, that was almost 30 on the dot for Drumboardist. Still anyone's game.
Yeah,
I cannot emphasize enough just how much is left of this run.
Oh yeah, there's still a lot can swing. We still have PRV, we have Car Painter, we have Threed, we have Winters. There's still a lot to go.
Yeah, even just the caves in Tucson, between Tucson and Peaceful Rest Valley, I've seen people lose minutes there.
Yeah, the Sprout despawns. Those can get rough. And this is our 4th bracket race so far. So far, every top seed has advanced. Of this, I think that's of note to say right now.
Until my race, I'm sure I'll lose.
Drumboardist with the early butterfly. Arithium still is going to have to get two butterflies, typically.
Yeah, right now, you'll see that both runners are going to be looking for 2 butterflies to basically max out where they were at and the life ups in, restore all their psychic points. Little thing you'll notice on Arithium's screen is that you don't actually have to check the pencil or the iron pencil or whatever to spawn the next trigger. You just have to have it spawned, and you don't even have to see it on your screen. More or less, I think it's like, what, a third of a screen off screen is still considered spawned in.
Yeah, about where he turned away was about where the trigger point is. It's that little inlet that he walked up and turned around, and it's the fourth blade of grass from the bottom up. That's the trigger point.
Yes, the 4th grade of blast.
Yes.
Pretty good caves. You didn't have to despawn too much. Alright, and I think that was the 2nd butterfly, so Arithium's got both of the butterflies he needs. I like getting them as soon as possible. Some people like to get them in the same consistent spots in PRV for split purposes, more or less just for consistency for splits. But for a race, I like to get them as soon as possible, just in case you do get in an accidental fight, it can save your life.
So he just picked up the pencil eraser, so that's the item needed to advance further into Peaceful Rest Valley. So that's an essential item to continue along.
It looks like both runners are actually getting some pretty decent spawns so far. They haven't had to spend a lot of time despawning so far. That can always change.
It looks like Drum just got to the Grade of Blast, so he's ready to go back.
He can actually make it down if he decided to go down. I would, but maybe he doesn't see it. But the thing about those UFOs is their horizontal speed is extremely fast, but their vertical speed is actually, I think, pretty much the same speed as Ness's. I don't think it's slower or faster. I think it's the same, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But if you're running away from them vertically, you can actually get away from them and get them stuck on a tree or something. But don't try to outrun them horizontally. It usually does not end well.
Yeah, they hit you pretty hard, and they usually send you back to the Tucson department store with your hand in your head.
But yes, this part that Arithium's in right now, Peaceful Rest Valley, it's a very scary part of the run. There's spawns everywhere, and you can get kind of stuck in between spawns if spawns spawn in front of you, and then you try to despawn them, and then they spawn behind you, and you can get yourself in a pickle pretty easily.
Ozzy's in a pickle. Oh, wrong game. Ooh, we got sniped by a robo.
I would say the worst enemy to get in a fight with.
Is I'd say it's the UFO, to be honest, but
I usually say the robo. I think they have more HP for one. Plus, if they... I mean, their speed is slower, but they also can give you a cold, and a cold is just wasted psychic points for you.
yeah, true.
They're both really bad, though. There's no running away from UFOs. That's for sure. And your rocket has less chance to hit against UFOs, so I guess it's really a toss-up.
Yeah, so the moral of the story is don't fight anything.
Pretty much.
So these tree spawns here that you can see are actually he despawned them. Oh, there's another one. You can outrun that with Nessa's normal speed, so there's no real... If you see one like coming in behind you, just keep walking, you're good.
Yeah, and the sprouts have a... You have to get pretty close to them for them to start chasing you. A lot of this run is just knowing how enemies move.
Yeah, and knowing how to get them stuck on stuff to dodge them. So Arithium kind of getting the business here towards the end, and Drumboardist is entering PRV himself. But looks like Arithium made it through pretty well unscathed, except for the single robo fight, but still not bad.
And all the snakes are running away from him. Yay!
Yeah, no step on snake.
Those snakes have like a 75% chance to run away from you. So there's a chance they may run at you, but you'll insta-kill them easily, but it's just a minor time loss.
Yeah, if you're in that narrow section, you see one running towards you, you might as well just take the fight. It's quicker to just take the insta-win than try to stutter around it.
Drumboardist's PRV seems to be making up some time on Arithium. It's been going really well.
He still has to go around this corner here. This is where Arithium kind of got the business, so... Let's see if what PRV's packing for Drumbo here.
Neither of them opting to get the bomb. There is a bomb you can get in Peaceful Rest Valley. Some runners get it. Most, I don't think most of them do, but you can get it. It can save you a rockin' against the single cultist you fight because you can just throw a bomb at him. But it's kind of out of the way, so most runners opt not to get it. Yeah, he can outrun that tree. The only scary thing that could have happened there is if enemies would have spawned underneath him, he would have been forced to pick a fight. But things turned out well for him. And that's what I mean by a snake. He can fight.
Yeah, that one ran at him. That's what we call aggro snake, but Drum unfortunately had to step on Sneck here.
And sadly, I wasn't able to really explain the Arithium fight because I was explaining Drumboardist. But the Shack fight, which we'll see again, you fight 2 cultists and a crow. You cannot run away from that fight. It's a scripted fight, so you can't. And cultists have the chance to call for help, and they do a decent amount of damage. So more or less what you do is you use Rockin', and that has a chance to kill a cultist. Most of the times it doesn't, but it can. And then more times you just do 2 Rockins and most things die. The second fight, however, there's a lot of choices he can make. More likely than not, what he's going to do is just bash and hope that the cultist dies. But if he gets a bash in and say the cultists call for help, you may see him either use Rockin' to kill try to kill both of them, or he might try to kill the weakened one with bash, and then, alright, we'll see what he does, since this exact situation came up. And he chooses to Rockin', smart choice.
Yeah, that's a typical thing to happen right there. So, because of the Shack fight, the cultist enemy is scripted and flagged by the game to not be runnable. So you may see some, like, random cultist enemies pop up in the cave as Drum heads back in. Those cultists are also not able to be run from because of the same flag.
Which can confuse a lot of people, because typically if you get a green swirl or a preemptive attack on an enemy, you have a 100% chance to run away from. But if with Cultist, even if you get a green swirl, you cannot run away.
Drumboardist got a hamburger pilfered there.
Do you want to explain the Carpenter fight?
All right, so Carpenter has a rotating order of 6 moves. So he opens up with a lightning attack, and then he heals himself, and then he bashes you. Then he does lightning again. He does a shield, and then he bashes you, and then it starts over from the beginning. So you use that like order of moves to plan your heals, plan your attacks, and generally it's a pretty safe fight, but it can get out of hand if he hits you hard, smashes you, or if you get too many missed lightnings, don't go in with enough healing items and stuff like that.
Yeah, the lightning has a 25% chance to hit, so the chance to hit's pretty low, but he does use it twice. So I would say on average I'd say probably about 2 full cycles through. He normally dies between your Rockins or your bashes, but it can drag on a long time if those lightnings don't want to hit.
Yeah, so lightning is actually the accuracy for lightning is actually dependent on how many kids you have alive in the party. It's 25% per kid. So if you have all 4 kids that are alive and well, lightning will hit 100% of the time.
This is just a question because I just thought of it and I'm not actually sure. Does that factor in bears too? If you have a bear in your party, does that up it to 50%?
I actually don't know, but it could. I don't know the answer though.
Because it's weird because bears have a weird mechanic where they will take the hit 75% of the time. So I'm not sure how they would factor in with lightning.
It's a good question, actually.
I mean, either way, we're going to drop the teddy bear because we don't want it absorbing hits for what we're about to do. If you remember, we saved in department store in Tucson. That was not a safety thing. That's actually so we can get back to Tucson faster. What the runners are going to do is enter the cave, get in a fight with the mole, and hope that the mole kills them quickly. The mole kind of can be a troll, though, if he decides he doesn't want to attack. But he played good today. Arithium got a very good mole.
Drumboard is getting a very nice lightning reflect roll of 150, and Carpenter's down. Drumboardist is a bit behind here, but oh no, Arithium forgot to save in Tucson. He's back in Onet.
Oh, that changes everything. I didn't realize he didn't save.
This is going to open the door for Drumboardist to catch up.
That also forces Arithium to get the photo. The photo, if you get a photo that you don't want, that's a 16-second time loss, I believe.
Yeah, roughly.
But I think the total time for him to walk back to Tucson is like something like a minute and a half or something like that. It's a very significant time loss.
Yeah, this is going to catch Drum up quite a bit here. He's going to dodge the mushroom gauntlet, too.
Does Arithium do Tucson in a minute? I don't think he does. But it could be. Classic James and I did the same thing last night in the race.
He got nabbed by a mushroom. Oh no!
Oh, this is not good.
He should be okay, but
yeah, he's good.
It's a time loss, but
I think he may be trying a little too hard to save time right now. He's also taking his movements kind of risky. The way he moved by those trees, there very easily could have been a mushroom there. I personally prefer to walk a little bit more out of the way, just in case there is a hiding mushroom, because They can snipe you. You cannot see them if they're hiding directly behind a tree.
I didn't see Arithium go to an ATM. I don't know what his money count looks like. I don't know if he has 100 right now. He probably does.
Yeah, he pulled out everything he had when he was at the ATM, so he's good.
He did the death warp, having 200 during the death warp, so you're good to go on money.
He accidentally talked to the wrong Runaway 5 member. Alright, let's see if Drumboardist gets a good mole. Ah, he's trolling.
He's got good HP setup, though.
So what we do on this one, you'll see that he's using the ATM card with Ness and bashing with Paula. The ATM card is to make sure Ness doesn't do any damage to the mole, and you don't want him to guard because he only takes half damage. If he's low enough, you can use guard, but typically just use the ATM card. And with Paula, you use the bash because if he confuses himself, that 1 damage will knock him out of confusion.
That was pretty good death warp. You can see that Drumboardist spawned in the Tucson department store, as intended.
But yeah, it's a little slow section of the run right now. It's a lot of walking around Tucson, talking to people, get this item, then get this item, watch a cutscene, watch another cutscene. So until 3, just really not going to be a whole lot of variation that can go on, except maybe a random despawn here or there. But yeah, there's not a lot of spawns in Tucson.
Or getting nabbed by a hippie or something, possibly. Even though Car Painter's down, enemies do still spawn in Tucson. It looks like Tunerler is saying that the ghost and the bear should count towards the thunder hit chance. So it's kind of funny to me that Drumboardist is racing and also performing on stage in Arithium screen right now, because you can see that there's 6 members of the Runaway 5 on stage, so one of them is actually Drumboardist. He's in the back on the left. It's Drumboardist and the Runaway 5.
I was just theorized that the guy on the keyboard is just a guest from that. What's the band from Mother 3 called again? I can't remember.
The DC, I want to say it's DCMC.
DCMC? Yeah, DCMC. I always just said he was a guest because it's pretty much the same guy in both bands.
It's actually Duster. I guess I can't say that, though. Duster was the bassist, but that would be funny. So, like we said before, Drumboardist caught right back up. He's at max, like maybe minute 20 behind right now. He was way further behind, but
yeah, and that much of a difference is not much at all when it comes to winners. It really isn't. Winners changes everything. In my case, it makes me want to pull my hair out.
You're not alone.
Arithium, are you cheating? Are you cheating? Get out! Stop watching. You better not be listening. All right. Let's find out if he's listening too. All right, Arithium, if you are listening, you are a doo-doo head. All right, now we'll know if he's listening or not because he'll be on tilt from that.
He'll be on tilt from that.
All right, so short little section before our next cutscene, but not a small one. Arithium's going to have to walk through the graveyard, and there's some scary things that can happen in the graveyard, specifically flies. Flies can easily ambush you, like that right there. That's actually kind of bad.
Oh, that was out of nowhere.
Yeah, that's not a fight you can easily run away from. Those enemies are rather fast, and he's gonna have to try to run away from this fight because that ghost, he does not have enough psychic points to kill it. And it's rather fast too, so it's kind of hard to run away from. But he did.
Nice.
Clearly he was listening. He's on tilt. You'll notice how he's hugging the bottom of the trees. That's because flies can spawn to the left on him. By hugging those bottom of the trees, it increases the chances of those flies getting stuck in. Oh
my goodness, no! But he already got the trigger. He got the story trigger. So if he does rip here, he can just proceed right directly to the hotel.
Yeah, it's really not a time loss. It's not really a time loss at all. Honestly, he's not any farther away from the hotel. New Death Warp strat. And it's definitely faster to just not get in a fight. But the difference between running away from the fight and dying is pretty much the same.
Yeah, in this case, it really wasn't that bad. Ooh, Drumboardist saw the fly, and he definitely dodged. Oh, another one! Oh, nice dodge.
This is a very scary graveyard today. It's the spirit of Halloween, I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's that Halloween tree. Alright, there we go, Drum. You got it.
Subtle thing that you might have noticed that Drumboardist did that you may not have seen is even though there weren't any enemies on the screen, you saw him just randomly walk away. That's because he was using the lag on the screen to gauge if enemies spawned or not. If the enemies are spawned, even if you don't see them, they can generate lag, and you can use that and just walk away, walk back, and if there's no lag, you know you despawned them. All right, and now we're going to be introduced to one of the best characters in the run, Tony.
He lets you name your player later in the run.
He also lets you jump a fence. Without Tony, there is no Earthbound.
Tony, the true hero of Earthbound. Alright, so Drumbo is going to be starting the winter sequence as well. And, you know what? It's really still anyone's game. It's less than a minute at this point, I believe, separating them.
Fun fact, Tony has never been beaten in battle.
It's easy to not lose a fight if you've never been in a fight.
I kind of wanted to make a random doors joke because you can technically bring Tony into a fight, and interesting things happen.
Oh jeez, he probably has no battle code.
Well, in random doors, the battle code's random, and in my case, he shot a bazooka.
Oh wow, Tony is the true hero of Earthbound.
I like to believe that's canon.
Arithium accidentally selected the wrong locker at first here, so...
Subtle things like that. I'm telling you, he was listening. He's on tilt now. He's having trouble coping with being a doo-doo head. And now we get to go on a magical journey with the two worst characters in the game. Jeff and Bubble Monkey.
Yep, Bubble Monkey is the version of... He's that kid who lags behind everybody and you want him to catch up and then he just like runs and like trips over himself. Yeah, Bubble Monkey's that guy. Bubble Monkey can help you and hurt you. He can help you in the sense that if he lags behind and the enemy aggroes onto Jeff, Bubble Monkey can come in from behind and green swirl, but Bubble Monkey can also lag behind you and cause you to be red swirled.
Arithium intentionally taking the fight with a dog instead of choosing to despawn it. In this case, I say that's fine because there are spawns in every other direction. Plus, it will give him a free life up in a... I don't know what the chance of the bread roll is, but it's pretty high.
It's 50-50.
Didn't get the bread roll, but he got a couple experience. That I think that will more likely not let him take one extra hit from the protoplasm. Not guaranteed, but it can.
Yeah, the level 2 strat for Proto is definitely... It definitely helps out.
So, slight little thing that you'll see with Arithium that we haven't actually explained anywhere else in the run, but we can avoid photos. We know exactly where the photos spawn. And in this case, there is a photo directly in front of the tent that you would normally want to walk right across. If you brush against it just like he did right there, you can skip it. But if you're just 1 or 2 pixels lower, you actually get a photo. Yeah, look how close these runs are now. They're really close to each other.
Yup, for sure. Let's see those MS Paint Beasts in chat. We have everybody's favorite dinosaur ocean monster thing.
I didn't even know that was in this chat, in this channel. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was added in by Fiesel. Thank you for adding that, Fiesel.
Is biasly looking for Ego Orb, even though it has nothing to do with Boogie percent.
There you go.
There it is.
There you go. Alright, see what happens in Brick Road, Pawn Cave. This race could very well shift back to Drum. He's right on Arithium's tail. Arithium's going to have to execute pretty well here to stay in the lead.
Correction, he's actually on Tessie's tail.
Ooh, I like it.
But just to give you an idea of how good these runs are right now, like how we said earlier that a sub 30 O-net is good, same with a sub 1 hour Tessie. That's the milestone you're typically looking for in Boogie percent. Ooh, and just like that, they're pretty much tied.
Yep. It's not going to send Arithium back too far. He's going to be sent back right to the spot where he left Tessie, but That is going to really shorten the gap here.
And just like that, like I said earlier, winters can change everything.
Because protoplasm is stronger than Gygus, that's why.
No, Jeff's just weaker than protoplasm. It's just Jeff.
Clean second fight here. Let's see what happens with Drumboardist.
Alright, good first turn. Arithium setting up to try to skip the duck.
Drumboardist should be okay here.
Oh, and Arithium wasted a lot of time trying to set up duck skip, and by not getting it, it just ended up being a time loss. But if he would have gotten it, it would have been really good. If I was Drumboardist, I wouldn't try to set it up. I would just go.
No, that's not a very good spot right there for duck skip at all. The Mad Duck fight typically takes between it's usually 4 or 5 rounds.
Arithium setting up for and he missed the protoplasm skip.
So if Drum can get the proto skip here, he can. Oh, we got a fresh egg. That's a little bit of safety for him going into Pawn Cave. If Drum can get the proto skip here, he's going to take the lead. See what happens.
So close, but not quite.
Ooh, yeah, I thought he had it.
Do you want to actually explain proto skip?
All right, so you're basically manipulating the monkey's movement. You're manipulating his walk cycle so that he stays with you when you do the present dodge. So what you'll see us walking left and right, and that's to get him to stop, catch up to you, and then you walk straight left, down, and then left and right past the present. But sometimes monkey's walk cycle is a little smaller, so you don't get it anyway.
And everything is coming down to 2 things. There's just 2 big barriers left in this run. Pawn Cave and Boogie Tent. And it's all going to come down to who gets the better spawns.
They're on the same screen right now.
Yeah, they're literally... Drumboardist got a slight lead. It's anyone's game. The one thing of execution that can happen right now is all the enemies here can be stutter-stepped, but some of the spots are very difficult to stutter-step. In the second room, it introduces mushrooms, though, as we said earlier. Well, I guess I didn't say it earlier, but they have the same thing as sprouts, where they won't aggro you unless you get really close.
They have a smaller than average aggro radius, so like, you can take advantage of their aggro radius, but if you get caught by one, it's definitely bad news here. Ooh, Drum with a clean second room.
Arithium trying to stutter step, but he got a green swirl, so not a big deal.
Yeah, you'll take the green. That's good to go. Drumboardist being a little bit careful with the stutters here. He's really not leaving anything.
I want to take that. No, don't do. Oh.
No. All right, he does have a restorative item, so he should be okay. He should not be auto fighting here. Drum, no Drum. All right, no,
he's good. He's good.
All right, good.
He has 1 restoration, 2 restoration left if you count the cookie.
And the 10 HP right there. So he's going to save a little bit of time later on from the lack of level.
Arithium just that's the problem with stutter stepping. You can save a lot of time by doing it, but you never know what's going to be ahead of you.
Still up in the air here. Drumboard is having a little bit of time. Oh, he's got it now. Oh, he's got the mushrooms.
He needs to walk just a little bit farther.
All right, they're back on the same screen. Will Arithium get a clean walkover? Oh, they're both despawning the same area right now, but Arithium gets... they're still literally tied right now.
Either of them going to upload the battle rocket.
look at this. Both bubble monkeys are going up at the same time. This is incredible.
Both opting to take the bottle rocket. While it's definitely safer to get it, it does cost a little bit of potential time. I typically go for that too, but in this close of a race, that can make all the difference whether you choose to skip it or not.
Both of them had a one walk up the rope exit, and that's typically not what happens. Typically, the mushrooms block you off the rope, but both of them getting out first try, so they are tied going into this final area.
This is gonna Arithium losing a little bit of time with the cave boys, so this is gonna come down to more or less one major thing and one minor thing. The minor thing being how fast can they mash. The major thing being how quickly can they kill Boogie Tent.
Yep. It's going to come down to 10 here. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead, RBM.
So with Boogie Tent, what we're looking for is we're going to be using a big bottle rocket from Jeff that he's been carrying this whole time. We're going to hope that does enough damage to more or less one-shot Boogie Tent. But ideally, that's what you want, and you want Paula to die. That's not likely for Paula to die, but if one, like either Paula or Ness, or even just one character is dead, you save a lot of text on level ups. But what we're really looking for is a fast Boogie Tent fight. No, neither of them got any skips. I'm so happy to be commentating this race. This is so close. Such a good race.
Yeah, this is a hype race.
Both of them still on a pretty solid pace. I mean, Pond Cave could have been a little bit better. Like, winners could have been better for both of them. But either so, this is still really solid pace. Do you think we'll see sub 110s?
It's going to be tight on the sub 110, but they could possibly be within 15 seconds of each other finishing it. It's going to be nuts. It's going to be really tight on the 110, though. I'm going to say no at this point.
I'm also curious to see if they opt for the teddy bear. They may potentially skip the teddy bear, even though while it's more risky, you have a higher chance of Jeff dying. It can also save you time. You're missing text, and if the right character dies, you can save a lot of text on level ups. It's risky, but with a race this close, they might be making that call, especially if they're listening in.
I wonder if any of them will do safety shopping. Probably not, but you never know.
It's going to come down to tech skip. That's what it's going to come down to. Can they skip the text at the door? Neither of them skipped the text. I'm disappointed.
Oh yeah, too close for shopping for sure, but I mean, you never know. Oh, there's one teddy bear skip. And two teddy bear skips. So both racers. Drum getting an unlucky spawn in the street. Arithium is going to pull ahead.
It comes down to Boogie Tent. That's all there is to it.
Arithium first to the fight. He shot. He didn't use the bottle rocket.
He didn't use the bottle rockets.
Drumboardist, bottle rocket.
Oh, and Arithium got the kill.
Oh, and Drumboardist didn't.
Match for your life, Drumboardist. Match for your life.
Drumboardist might have an extra level here, so I mean, oh, this one might be too close to call. My goodness.
Arithium smashing seems to be on point. I think Arithium smashing is a little bit faster. That race! GG Arithium. My god, that was a good race. Literally seconds separating them.
Insane race. Really great job by both runners.
And the chicken ran away as fast as it could. Well, is that the closest race in the series yet?
Oh, by far, sure, absolutely. That's got to be. Might be the closest race since BGG and Uko tied last year.
What an insane race! I'm a little mind blown by just how close that was. That's insane.
Yeah, remind me to not go picking fights with mushrooms.
That was a great race, dude.
Also, really, the mushroom, okay, I gambled there. I figured I was behind because it's Arithium. Of course I am. What was with that graveyard? Stop throwing everything at me!
Hey, both of you had awful graveyards. At least you didn't die.
I was considering just walking out of the place entirely and just like, you know what? No, let's see if the hooker's here. Maybe. Come on, please? No? Oh.
No, I hate to say it, but I think Arithium's graveyard was worse.
I don't really see how that's possible, but I'll take your word for it.
2 fights and a death.
Okay, so he beat me by that much. He beat me by 7 seconds, having died twice, or having 2 fights and dying. Yeah, I don't deserve to be in this this thing right here. Because dang, outside of the mushroom fight, that was 37 seconds off of my race PB. So I really can't do this much better than that. I don't know what it is that I'm missing.
Oh, you did absolutely wonderful. You did great. A lot of that was just Onet. Onet can just separate runs. And you had a good Onet, but his was just a little bit faster.
My best Onet was like 28.50, and I've never come close to recreating that. Everything else has to line up for me, otherwise it just doesn't happen. So I don't know what the heck I need to do to have better Onets.
Better RNG.
All right, welcome, Arithium. Anything to say about this win? This crazy race, man.
Yeah, that was kind of dumb. I've been doing twos a minute for about 4 days now, and I guess muscle memory kicked in, withdrew money, and just kept going.
Doo-doo head.
Yeah,
well, you won, so it worked.
I cannot believe that 1 hit left and that friggin' Proto would have died, and Jeff missed. So typical of him.
Drum, you came within about 10 hit points of one-shotting Boogie Tent when Arithium accidentally bashed first turn. If you had one-shot Boogie Tent, it would have been flipped.
Yeah, it came down to Boogie Tent. And that last spawn, that very last spawn, changed it.
Yeah, that sounds good. Well, there were a lot of little things that I did that wound up ruining it, but I mean, he also had a death, so that ruined him too.
Yeah, I saw he was only 7 seconds ahead of me. I'm like, all right, we're going to yellow this. And then, of course, I overmashed and nearly lost it.
I also skipped the teddy bear. What do you want about if I'd gone for the teddy bear? Those spawns wouldn't have been there.
It's possible.
Blah. I would save 3 seconds. It would have been an even more humiliating loss.
Yeah, it would have been like a 1 second loss. That would have been the worst.
Can we just call it a tie? No? Okay.
A tie in a re-race.
Yay!
Yeah, I ended up having a dot done because for some reason my split stopped working. I couldn't use any of the hotkeys. I had to manually split, and then all of a sudden through PRV it skipped like 4 splits. I'm like, all right, well, I better stop before this thing accidentally finishes.
Yeah, I remember seeing another runner having an issue with that. I don't know, unfortunately, how to fix it, but
I gotta admit though, that was a really fun race, even though I totally messed up. But
Oh, it was so close. It was really close. Drumboardist just was coming back so quickly towards the end.
yeah, well, that graveyard was not doing me any favors. And as soon as I saw that last fly coming in, I'm like, all right, just red swirl me and get it over with.
yeah, you wisely took the death there.
It's the spirit of Halloween. Both of you had really bad graveyards.
Hooray. Guess I should keep trying to see if I can get this stupid glitch in the tent.
A really great race, you two. Super close, super hype.
Well, you know, we had to do something to keep it interesting.
Hey, Arithium, you want to race some FF1 Rando?
Yeah, I don't know anything about that game. It's gonna be a one-way situation.
Well, let me tell you a little bit about FF1. It's the first Final Fantasy.
You are correct. Keep going.
Oh, I just said I was going to tell them a little bit.
That counts.
There's
Well done.
random encounters.
Well done.
It's an RPG. You have 4 characters in your party. You can choose what classes you want to be in. It's a pretty good
And
game.
my preferred methodology is you pick 4 classes and immediately kill off one of them. Don't ask.
All right,
I'm
well, I'm
guessing,
gonna head
I'm
off
guessing
here.
you killed a monk.
All right, well, thanks y'all for all that, and best of luck, Arithium. For I don't know who you're going up against. I think Stalling said he's if he gets past his, then he's gonna have to face you. So it's either him or somebody else.
I think it's Hunter. I'll be facing Hunter.
Oh, there it is. Okay, so Hunter, he with the aforementioned wonderful splits.
Hey, I mean, I can't complain too much. I beat one person. I know Hunter's gonna take me out, so it's whatever.
Hey,
Yeah,
it's Boogie.
that's what I was thinking
Anything
walking
can
into
happen.
this. I mean, that is true. You could have Jeff just get one-shotted right out of the gate, and you're down to prayer strats.
It can
Well, I
also
mean,
just come down to Titanic Ant smashes. There's not much recovery from that.
Well, that's true. Raise your hand if you haven't had the look. I'm Titanic Ant. Here's a smash, and here's another smash. Go back to home.
Like, it doesn't matter who you're up against. If you know the route, you can win. Obviously, execution does play a role, but it doesn't decide everything when it comes to boogie percent.
Yeah, and saving plays an even bigger role.
Yeah, that might help. All right, well, thanks, y'all. I'm gonna go to bed because I got a long day of working on cars tomorrow. No, that's not a video game. Don't look it up. It's not a race.
So before closing, what races can we look forward to tomorrow, D-Rock?
I'll pull up the list. We have quite a bit of races. I'll go through them. We'll go through the ones that are going to be restreamed. Alright, so at 1 p.m. we have Classic James and Flesh. That is not currently slated to be restreamed. 3 p.m. we have New Life in Haiku. 4 p.m. we have Uko and Xander. And the 2 races that are slated to be restreamed right now are myself and Ryan Russell. And Yuna versus Cerium. My race is at 9 and the Yuna Cerium race is at... my race is at 8 and the Yuna Cerium race is at 9. So a lot of action to come up tomorrow.
Good stuff, good stuff. So make sure everybody come on out, watch those things. Also, make sure you're following, well, I'm not going to say the racers because that sounds like a self shout out. Follow the commentators, and as usual, if you're not following Speed Gaming and Speed Gaming 2, 3, 4, follow them. And follow Feasel, because Feasel, what's wrong with you? It's Feasel. You follow him.
definitely follow everybody.
Follow everyone. All of them.
Follow Solomon.
There you go. All right, I'm heading out. See y'all later.
Have a good night. I'm off too.
All right, thank you for joining us tonight. This is D-Rock 91384, and I'll see you later as well. Thank you for joining Earthbound Super Series. Peace.